Let's talk about one of the most critical moments in our teaching. You know the one, it's that exact moment we hand a piece of writing back to a student. Is that the end of the road, or is it a new beginning? Our goal today really is to completely transform that moment. We're going to turn feedback from just a grading exercise into what is, frankly, our most powerful teaching tool. I mean, come on. We've all heard some version of this, right? A student gets their grade back, lets out this huge sigh of relief, and immediately just moves on. It's like everything they were supposed to have learned is just tossed aside. And right there, that sigh, that's the sound of our feedback failing. Because when an assignment or a test feels like this final judgment, like it's the finish line, all the learning just stops, dead in its tracks. The conversation is over. And our best opportunity to teach, it's just been lost. So this is the crux of it. We have to understand the difference between assessment that shuts down learning and assessment that actually helps it grow. We've got to move beyond just handing out a score. H. Douglas Brown gives us this really essential distinction. Think of summative assessment like a snapshot. It's a picture in time. It's the final exam, the final grade. It just tells you, here's what you got. But formative assessment? That's the roadmap. Its entire purpose is to guide the student's journey from where they are now to where they need to be. For us, every single piece of student writing is a golden opportunity for formative feedback. And this is exactly why a score, all by itself, just doesn't work. A 6.5 or a 7.0, what does that really tell a student? It tells them where they stand compared to others, which, as Brown points out, just creates competition instead of cooperation. It gives them zero specific information on how to get better. It's a judgment, not a guide. Okay, so how does this big idea actually play out when we're sitting there with a student's essay? Well, this brings us to another key distinction, this time from the work of Jeremy Harmer, the difference between correcting and responding. You know, this right here demands a huge shift in our mindset. When we correct, we're basically acting like an editor. Our only focus is on fixing the mistakes. But when we respond, we become a partner in the student's process. The whole focus shifts from, this is wrong, to, okay, let's explore how we can make your message even more powerful. And this is Harmer's whole point. Our very first job is to react to the content. What are they actually trying to say? Is their argument making sense? We have to engage with their ideas first. Tease out alternatives, make suggestions, long before we even think about marking a single grammar mistake. All right, let's zoom out for a second to the big picture idea that really ties all of this together. How does our specific way of giving feedback create ripples that affect everything in our classrooms? Well, there's a name for that. It's called the washback effect. Both Brown and Harmer talk about this. Washback is basically the ripple effect of any assessment. You can have negative washback, that's when we get so focused on teaching the test that real deep learning gets shoved aside. But then there's beneficial washback, and that's when the assessment process itself becomes the very engine that drives genuine language improvement. This slide right here, this is our North Star. This is the goal. According to Brown, when an assessment is designed with these things in mind, when it's formative, when it gives rich developmental feedback, it becomes this powerful engine for beneficial washback. It doesn't just measure learning anymore, it actually changes how we teach and, more importantly, how our students learn. Okay, this is where the theory hits the road. How do we take all these great ideas, formative assessment, responding instead of just correcting, beneficial washback, and turn them into a clear, repeatable process that every single one of us at IELTS Focus can use? So, here it is. This is our standardized 4-step process. We're going to use this method to give feedback on all writing assignments. And that's how we'll make sure our feedback is always a tool for development. Let's break this down real quick. Step 1 is pure Harmer. We're responding as a reader first. Step 2 is absolutely key because it stops us from drowning the student in a sea of red ink. Step 3 is Brown's formative assessment in action. It's all forward-looking advice. And Step 4 is the crucial final link that makes sure our feedback actually gets used. This is exactly why Step 4 is completely non-negotiable. Look, feedback can't be a one-way street. The learning loop only closes when the student has a chance to ask questions, get clarification, and actually use the advice. The real learning kicks in when they engage with our comments. When we adopt this method, we fundamentally change our role. We're no longer just graders, no longer just judges of some final product. We become developers. We become coaches and partners in our students' journey to get better. So this is the question.
This is the question we have to ask ourselves every single time we sit down to look at a student's work. Let's make sure that our answer, through our actions, through our comments, is always unequivocally that we're building a learner.